Staying grounded in front of manipulative or narcissistic people with Dianne Scott. You'll come across many different types of people in your lifetime. Some good, some not so good. There's so many different types of people out there. And I really want to empower you listeners out there that you deserve to feel empowered and to let those toxic people around you they shouldn't be breaking you. They should be making you, but not break you. The worst ones will have the most impact on your life. It depends on how you want to make it into a positive or a negative outcome. There are sociopaths, psychopaths, narcissists, unhappy people, and all the spectrum of unpleasant people who would rather bring people down instead of working on themselves. Today's guest has a thing or two to say about that. Welcome aboard the podcast, A Woman Spark with Janik, a place to show women how powerful they are and remind them of the spark that they carry. A place to feel seen and understood when we don't fully have what it takes to get back up on a hard day. This podcast is to help women heal and become the best version of themselves during the roller coaster of life. I want to build a community of women who want to help one another and inspire each other to become stronger and more united as we were born to be. Today, we're going to touch the subject of manipulative and narcissistic people and how you can get back up and stand your ground once in front of them. Did you know that women dealing with narcissistic people often face significant emotional challenges that can impact their life, that can impact their self-esteem, their mental health, and sense of identity? But there are some actual practical strategies to stay grounded and protect yourself in such relationships. The psychological effect on women when they are involved with a narcissist is erosion of self-esteem, increased anxiety and depression, isolation from friends and family, physical health issues stemming from chronic emotional stress, and so much more. So here are some of the techniques that I've found to stay grounded and resilient in the face of a narcissistic behavior. First of all, build your self-esteem through positive self-talk, self-care, healthy support systems. Stay close to friends and family that see you, that understand you, and that have always been around to support you. No matter what this person says, know who your people are. Practice emotional detachment. Assert boundaries clearly and calmly. Use the I statement when communicating your needs and focusing on your personal needs and requirements. Stand firm. In reality, when faced with gaslighting and manipulation, the best thing you can do is stand firm, hold your ground, remember who you are. And again, I repeat, engage regularly in self-care activities. Today's guest is often faced with a variety of types of people who enjoy making other people's lives miserable by their own misery. How does she deal with it? When we come back, we're going to welcome Dianne Scott. She's an actress, a comedian, and a pit bull rescue advocate based in Texas. She's known for her Instagram page, A Tale of Two Pitties, which has a large following and features her 4 rescues. Through her platform and a series of children book titled A Tale of Two Pitties, she aims to debunk myths and stigmas about pit bulls, promoting rescue and adoption of these dogs. We'll welcome her after the break. Welcome back to Women Spark Podcast with Janik. On the show today, we're going to welcome Dianne Scott. The story began with a rescue that she had who named Hurley, a pit bull mix whose affectionate and loving nature changed Dianne's perspective on the breed. She was on the podcast not so long ago. She's had a series of highlights of joy challenges rescuing pit bulls, emphasizing kindness and love towards these often very misunderstood dogs. She has to deal with many unpleasant people every single day because she has a platform on social media that she puts her life at the forefront of people's life. And some people they feel the need to comment and put their 2 cents forward. So narcissists, unpleasant people, and people who cannot hold their tongue, how does she deal with it? She's here to tell us more about it. Please welcome our spark of the day, Dianne. Hi, Dianne.
Hello, how are you? It's so good to see your face again.
Yes, absolutely. It's really nice to see. I keep following you, so I see your face more or less every day.
Yeah.
But it's really nice to exchange together.
You can't miss it. You can't run.
No, I mean, once a dog lover, you're always a dog lover. So you got 4,
So
so you can't
true.
miss that.
So
So
true.
let's jump right into it. Can you tell me who have you met in your life as a toxic character that has impacted your life?
You know, toxic people, narcissists, negative people, I've met a lot of them, I think as we all have. But they're the best teachers. And, when you're in it, you're not you're not appreciating the moment. It's not pleasant.
Yeah.
Um, but I have learned so much from dealing with those types of people. And without getting too specific, um, yeah, I'm trying to think of an example that I've dealt with recently. Actually, you and I were talking about this. Had an altercation. I have a lot of altercations online. I actually not altercations because I don't give people the power online in my comment section. But I did have an altercation with someone in person recently, and it was a totally inappropriate, invalidated crash out that I happened to be the victim of. Wasn't my fault. I was just happened to be the person that was there, that was on the receiving end. And something that I think, you know, everybody in this world can really, if I could give one piece of advice, it would be to work on loving yourself.
Mhm.
Um, because when
Can
you
you
love yourself and something like that happens to you, and you're experiencing an unhealed person attacking you, coming at you, whatever it may be, not only can you stay kind of grounded in who you are, but you can also have empathy and grace for that person because they're not where you are yet.
Yeah,
And if
plus
you can't understand.
by knowing who you are, you can immediately discard what they're saying because you know deep down with your self-love that whatever this person is spitting at you doesn't
Mhm,
reflect who you think you are, right?
right? And people will can only treat you at the level of which they love themselves. So if somebody is
Uh-huh.
coming at you and attacking you, you're holding up a mirror. I mean, that's how they feel about themselves. So if you can't understand why somebody would ever treat you the way that you do, you should consider yourself blessed because you can't understand it because you would never do it.
Yeah. I mean, can you give us
Yeah.
a little bit more detail as to what happened in the situation?
Yeah, it was essentially I was the person that was there, so I was the one who ended up getting screamed at. It was a work related situation. And immediately I could recognize that this person didn't want answers, didn't want to hear the other side of the story. They were there looking for a fight, a very unhealed level that I could not even possibly comprehend. And like I said, because I am, our journeys of healing are always evolving, but because I've been working on myself for so long, I was able to stay low and grounded as this person was up here screaming and flailing and just kind of look and recognize in the moment this person is looking for a fight. This person is they don't want there's going to be no um meeting in the middle. And I'm just going to
Mhm.
have to sit here. And by the way, there is such power when someone is coming at you. If you stay low and grounded and unaffected, even though I may have been, shaking inside because nobody likes getting screamed at, there's so much power in staying right here. Um, and that's what I did. And ultimately, it's having the ability to recognize when somebody is not healed yet, and maybe they don't haven't decided.
So for the listeners to better understand what you're saying about, you're physically standing in front of the person who's yelling at you, where does your brain go? Because if you're staying grounded, I just want the listeners to get a tip from someone who has done the work and wants to stand their ground, but also where physiologically, where does the brain go and where does the body lead you to when you're faced in front of something so unpleasant?
So, so 20 years ago, if this had happened to me, I would have met them. I would have mirrored the energy, matched the energy, as kids say now. I would have met them up here. I would have started swearing and flailing back. I would have been defensive. Um, I mean, God only knows what would have happened. But being in a place where you've worked so hard on yourself and you have the self-respect, I'm not matching energy. I know that's really kind of a popular thing these days is to, well, I'm gonna do it to you what you do to me. That's not at all how I think anymore. Because it's not a competition with the energy. It's I'm basically competing with myself, and the energy I put out is going to come back to me. So if I'm letting you bring me down to your level and flail and swear at you and get into a fight, that doesn't do anything but come back around to me.
Yeah.
So, and also on the topic of narcissists, and I know that word is also thrown around a lot, although I do think now, this day and age, we have a lot more narcissists than we did before. We could go a whole rabbit hole with that. Um, the truth about people like that will come out eventually, and you need only to sit back, stay here, stay in what is true. If someone is telling lies about you, slandering your name,
Hmm.
you know the truth. If those things aren't true, then you just literally sit back and wait and take it from somebody who has been through that with somebody for a long time, not this situation, but another situation. You sit back, you stay in your truth, and you wait. And don't sit there and stare at the clock and wait because you don't know the timing. But the truth always comes out. I mean, we've
Hmm.
heard this time and time again. It's true.
I've had people shout at me, and it's a bit more frequent lately. But what I tend to do, and because it's happened more often because I'm in the process of separation. Okay, so
Mm,
when there is venom being thrown at me that I don't feel is warranted or that it
mm,
fits with who I am,
mm,
literally, first of all, it's mirroring what we're basically the mirror of the person who's giving venom to us, right? So physically, I'm there, I'm listening, but I literally in my mind think of a metal wall or a brick wall
mm, mhm,
that is
mhm.
between me and the person spitting me venom, just to block it because
Yeah,
it belongs to them. Whatever venom they're spitting at you, it belongs to them. So there's no need for
amen.
me to absorb it. Why not just be a nonstick pan and just be there,
Mm,
be compassionate because clearly they're going through something difficult because ignoring
right,
it won't make it better. It probably will add oil to the fire. But
right.
acknowledge their what they're saying and just I usually tell them, I'm really
Yeah,
sorry you feel this way. I'm really sorry you feel
yeah,
this way. Your emotions are valid. They're valid because you're living them,
right,
but my
right.
wall is still there, blocking me from absorbing any of the negativity that they're trying to spit at me because it doesn't connect. It doesn't click with who I am or who
Right.
I know I am.
Yeah, and that's a great and I wish I would have known this a decade or two ago when I was going through something like that. And you have to give yourself grace too.
Mhm.
If your emotions like this experience I just had recently when this person came up and verbally assaulted me, I as much as I did stay grounded, I got shaken up in here. Because I looking back, I'm like, could I have done that differently and not felt so? Because the fact that if someone's coming up and screaming in your face, you might have a physical reaction. If someone is
Mhm.
throwing slander at you, you might have a physical reaction. The point is not to pretend like we're not human and we're going to have an emotional response, but to be emotionally regulated and to say, wait a minute, is that true what that person just said about me? Or did it just piss
Mm.
me off because it was so mean or someone else could think it was true? So when you make that
Yeah.
distinction, you go, that's not true.
Well,
Why
the
would,
introspection
and it's
afterwards is important to do because, if it does affect you, there must be a reason why it affects you, right?
right.
So, I remember this conversation we had on the previous podcast about cyberbullying, and you were saying if it
Yeah.
does affect me, there there is something for me to work on,
Right. There might
but
be
you
some
need
truth in that.
that's
Yeah.
it. But you might, it's important to make the distinction. Am I just being hurt by
Right.
what they're saying, or is there some actual truth
Right.
to it?
Right. And because words hurt, like I've never bought into the, oh, sticks and stones. But no, words hurt. And whether there's a little bit of truth in there, like they hit on an insecurity or they hit on something that you haven't dealt with, or if it's just completely fabricated and it hurt your feelings that someone could ever say that about you, make that
Mm,
distinction, accept that it's okay to be a sensitive. There's nothing wrong with being sensitive. That's another word that's thrown around like it's a bad thing. Being sensitive means you're in touch with your own feelings, which I think we all need to be doing, and others. You're thinking about others, you're thinking about how is this affecting them. I mean, not getting overwhelmed by it, but making that distinction and then, sitting with it. It's okay, I'm human, I have a
yeah.
response. And then
Being in touch with
dealing
your
with it.
emotions ma- puts you in touch of other people's emotions and makes you
Hmm.
think twice before saying something that may hurt someone.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah.
Yeah.
I really live by
Yeah.
the saying, don't do to others what you don't want done to yourself. So
Exactly. Even if they do it
yeah,
to you, don't do it back to them because you're only, like it said, you're only, it comes back. It comes back in some form, whether it's like a shame that you have or
mm,
a reflect. I mean, it's just rise above it.
that's it. Diane, I'd like to know, because you're talking about being 24 and today, what kind of work did you have to do on yourself to be at the place you're at today?
When I was in my 20s, I was living extremely selfishly. And I mean, I think that might be true for that kind of this might be, you're in your 20s, you're on your own for the first time, but I was really, really selfish. And there were reasons for that. And I had some trauma that I was dealing with. And, we all have different responses. But I hurt a lot of people, not intentionally, but yeah, just when you're living selfishly, you're gonna hurt people.
Mm,
And I went through a divorce. I got married very young and then left my husband. And what really made the change for me was when I met my current husband, who has 3 children. And it was a very, very tumultuous, ugly situation with their mom. And I felt God confirming that I was supposed to be with this man and that he had big plans and I was supposed to be a part of it. And I think there was this part of me that's like, I had been living for myself for a decade. I have been doing nothing productive and a lot of really destructive things. I love this man. It's time for me to step up and step into this role and face whatever it is that God's calling me to do. And becoming a stepmom and going through custody battles and kids who hated me and all of the lies that you dealt with and I mean, it was awful. But now that I'm on the other side of it, we've been married for almost 12 years. Kids are grown up, they're out, things have changed, truth is coming out. And I look back and I'm like, that was the hardest, most wonderful. I'm getting the chills. I love that. The hardest, most wonderful experience of my life. And when you are
mm.
a
Oh,
parent
I'm
or
getting chills
become a
too.
step parent, when you're become a parent or a step parent, you have to live selflessly. I guess you don't have to, but if you want to be a good one, you have to live selflessly.
Yeah.
And that whole experience just evolved me into a version. I mean, I still have family members and friends who are like, "You're like a different person now." And that's the best compliment ever because I don't want to be that girl who's in my place.
Hmm. It's it's beautiful to see when people work on themselves and really want to step up and really want to get to that next phase of their life and stop blaming others for their own misfortunes and stop victimizing themselves for whatever is happening to
Mhm.
them and just take charge of your life, because at the end of the day I think the it's only you. You're the only person in
Yeah.
your life who can change you and who will uplift you and who will change you and who can allow you to be the best version of yourself. So,
Yeah.
congrats.
And you just said
Honestly,
something
hats
that
off to you
I
for doing it.
thank you. Thank you. I made it. I made it out and it was all worth it, but it was so hard. And something you just said, there's so many people today that are in a never-ending victim mentality, and it's everyone else's fault. And this is if you're listening and you're young, especially, or even if you're not, and you have this way of thinking, life is not happening to you. You are experiencing life. You can create your reality. And even if you're in a horrible situation right now, it's all right here. It's right here. And it takes work and it can be really hard. Let's say you're in the middle of a horrible custody battle. You have to find a way to shift your mind around it, or whatever it is that you're in the middle of a horrible divorce, or a loved one just passed away, and I know that's a lot tougher, but it can't if you live in a victim mentality your whole life, you're gonna miss everything,
Mm.
and it takes a lot of work. I'll never forget, I went I my ex-boyfriend dumped me, and I had just had like a string of in my 20s, a string of boyfriends, like one after the next, like with no time in between. And then for the first time in a while, someone broke up with me, and I was meeting with a friend, and I was like, I don't know why this keeps happening to me. And he said, Di, it's not happening to you. You are experiencing it. And I will never forget that. And that was like 15 years ago because it's not, oh, this is, why does this keep happening? It's not things aren't happening. You're experiencing them, which means you have the control over how you react to the experiences.
Hmm. I want to bounce back on something you've just said. And being a victim and trying to get out of the victimhood. And I know there is, like you said, there's grief when you lose someone and so on.
Mhm. That
Um,
was a
it,
horrible example. Don't use that one because grief is
n-
a whole
n-
separate. It's a
it's a
separate.
different subject, but nonetheless, it's still being put to your knees, having to rebuild yourself back up. So
Mm-hmm.
it's a great example, but it's any event in your life that puts you to your knees and that you have to
Yeah.
rebuild yourself back up. It's your why. It's what's your spark that's going to get you back up. And
Mm-hmm.
oftentimes it's going to be outside, things that are outside of you that are going to help you get back up. But what if that person is not, or what those outside things aren't there anymore? You just have to, I'm saying this and I've not excelled at it yet. I'm in the process of learning this, so bear with
Okay.
me. It's my why, but learning to love yourself for who you are to get yourself back up and love yourself enough or to the maximum that you have all the reasons you need to get back up, because and stop getting into the victim mode and stop thinking that life is happening to you. It's just having a different kind of mindset and a spark and a why of getting back up. I don't know. What was that
Yeah.
for you for that moment? I mean, you were talking about your custody battle and your new husband. So your new husband was your spark, but there must have been a different, a bigger spark that got you to the new person you are
Yeah.
today.
I think it it was just what's right and what's wrong. And as someone who was raised to know very clearly what is right and what is wrong, it was to help him, stand with him in that fight. And yeah, that really opened my eyes to whole lot of injustices in this world, and um fighting for children and for the truth. I mean, it was very black and white to me, like, I'm doing this even though it's losing sleep, and um I'm terrified, but also, and looking back, I didn't know this then, but that yeah, that was the spark, having the foresight to be like, "Hey, they're children now, and if we don't do something now, they'll never know their dad, and they're only gonna know what's not true." And I just know, I mean, as an adult, know, like, the ripple effect that events can have on children, and it was just a no-brainer, and I'm so glad I did it. I'm so glad I stood by him
Hmm.
and did that, because it is the hardest thing I've ever done, and
You
it's
probably
crazy
gave
that
him
it's
the
been.
best gift of life to yourself, but to your couple, to your relationship. It's probably what made it thrive for, until today, because once a parent, always a parent. And no matter where you are, your babies are your babies. Even as a step
Yeah.
parent, that
Yep.
connection is built over time, but it's still there, right? So they,
Absolutely. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
so important what you did there.
Yeah. Thank you.
Dan, where are you right now? What do you do? What's your next step?
You mean career-wise or
Yeah. Career wise, I know you're
in
doing
general?
you're doing a lot of work with the rescue, the
Yeah.
dogs.
Yeah. So my husband and I just bought a house, which is amazing. And we're
Congratulations,
sitting
by
on
the
5
way.
acres
It looks
now. Thank
amazing.
you. Thank you. So, so great, and it just kind of shows you where we are as a society. We're in our 40s, and this is our first house that we were able to buy. But we finally did it. Yeah, I'm working at our local animal shelter, doing the social media for them, getting animals adopted. That's my purpose every day. Like I said, now the kids are out, so I can focus on the other kids who need help, the animals, and
Yes.
it's so fulfilling. I mean, doing that's another thing too. If you're kind of trying to figure out your purpose right now, and there, it's gotta there's something. I'm trying to think if this is a universal truth for it has to be. If your purpose is connected to being rooted in helping someone, your passion's never gonna die. You think about, like,
Hmm.
creating a product that somebody needs. I mean, there you think that everything has already been created at this point? No, there's an endless multiverse of creations that are waiting to be discovered by us. Creating a product, helping animals, helping people, sharing your testimony, like, I went through this 10 years ago, and I'm going to help someone else who's going through that. Your gift, your passion can just be talking to people, but figure
Hmm.
out if your passion's connected to helping somebody, and that's the key right there. Like
Absolutely.
what you're doing. I mean,
I mean,
it's another great.
this podcast has been my therapy for the last 8 months. So speaking to amazing human beings like you has it's fulfilling my purpose. It's fulfilling something that I've always wanted to fulfill, which is, like you said, help. So
Mm,
to everyone who's been on the podcast and the future ones who are going to be on the podcast, I really and the listeners, obviously, because it's all
mhm,
about
mhm.
helping one another, fulfilling your
Yeah,
purpose, living in the present, and just I don't know,
yeah, yeah,
figuring it out as we go along.
yeah. And by the way, like, you and I are not like, well, we're older now, so we figured it out. No, it's an ever evolving journey. Yeah, please.
Totally.
But don't feel like by the time you're our age, you better no. And also, this is going to go on for the rest of our lives. We're going to be changing. We're going to be growing. I mean, the whole you learn something new every day is like ridiculously true. every day.
Absolutely.
Every day there's something new to learn. There's some new thing to like adjust about yourself and improve, and you can change your mind about things. That's okay. I
Mm.
was gonna say
You,
something else
you know
and I
what I
forgot.
like is that we started about talking about manipulative and narcissist people. And the beauty of this podcast is we've literally gone on to talking about just being the best version of ourselves and
Yeah,
growing and being in the present and
yeah,
actually not giving power to that
mm,
initial title and to
exactly,
those people and actually really just
exactly.
being us. So thank you
Yeah,
for
and that's
sharing your
that's
journey, Diane.
that's the progression. That's how it should be in real life. I mean, those people don't pay my bills. Actually, they do sometimes because if you comment, the engagement goes up. So sometimes they do. But in general, those people don't affect me any more than I let them. And I'm not gonna,
And
I
we
don't allow
shouldn't.
them to.
And
Yeah,
that's it. Thank you,
yeah.
Diane. I really appreciate you coming on the podcast again.
I'm so happy you
To all
asked me.
you, yeah, to all you women out there, you know what? Just be you. Just go deep inside yourself and figure out who you are because you deserve to be the best version of yourself. And it's, you know what, an ongoing journey. So don't think it's a destination. It's just a journey. It's an everyday
Mm.
thing. And there are days that are going to be shit. I'm sorry, my language. But there are some
No,
days that are going to be great. And it's just about enjoying the journey. So this is it for us for today. Tune in every week on your favorite podcast platform. If you want to get involved with the Be Guided, Be Inspired community and you want to share what kind of impact you've had on others, go to our website, www.beguidedbeinspired.com. We'll write us and we'll connect together. Let's change the world of women one conversation at a time and one woof at a time. I love it. Thank you. Keep sparkling, you beautiful women. Have a nice day.